Hey, okay, this is unbelievably awesome for you to hear because I wish you all had been a fly on the wall only moments ago when I was actually talking to one of my coaches. And I thought, what a great way for me to give back to you is to walk you through how it happened, what we talked about, and then what you need to do in order to leverage and have a coach that actually works with you to get you to that next level. So let me preface this with I have pretty much had a business coach or some form of a coach in my life for probably at least the last 20 years. It started with mentors when I was first working at Oracle, and I would have these people that would, I'd run ideas off of, I'd ask for their opinions, I asked for their information. I'm like, what did you think? Have you ever had this situation happen before? And through this dialogue, it always gave me nuggets, these gold nuggets that I felt like, oh, I can go use those. And then through time, I started to realize that, wow, I've actually got three different areas of me that I want to focus on. I want to focus on myself, and I want to focus on my relationships, or in my case, lack thereof at one point when I was divorced and single. And I want to focus on my business. And I really reached out and tried to find the best, best coaches that could help me with that. And I ended up, through the years, sometimes I had three, sometimes I had one, sometimes I had two. And so what I have right now is I've mentioned that I'm totally into this neuro coaching and how to really leverage the science with everything that we do in our life and how your brain impacts all areas of your life. And today was this really great aha moment when I had a one-to-one with my neuro coaching that I'm getting my master's from. And as we were talking, and I said, I've got this program that I'm going to be announcing soon. It's coming up in the next couple months in November. And I have to say, I'm more excited about this than anything I've ever done. But yet, there's that little fear in the back of my head, like, it's new. It's, something that's, coming out from like all different areas of what I've done in the past and people I've coached. I'm putting it all together, and it's a little scary. And she was just so just rock solid. And the way she again described it is your brain wants to keep you safe from any possible failures, safe from, that feeling of like failure. And we've all failed, right? Who hasn't failed? And we just talked more and more about that. And yeah, we've all failed. And what's the worst thing that happens when you fail? You get back up again, and you try. And what happens when you put yourself out there and it's not a failure? It's the opposite. It's a massive success, which we've all had successes. We've all had those wins in our life. We've all had those times where things just fell in place. And so when you're in this middle ground and you're, trying to figure out like, okay, how do you get yourself out of that? First and foremost, you have to just accept, right? Accept that this is your brain getting into its habit, and we call them ants, the automated negative thoughts. And they just keep creeping up, don't they? Sometimes they creep up, and like when the ants go marching one by one, and sometimes it's like, whoa, it's, that time where you leave that donut on the counter and you come down and you're like, yikes, the kitchen's covered with ants. But it's normal. And I want you to know that you might be going through this right now. I'm going through this. But what I'm hoping is that you can hear that there is a way to take that and take it through a process, which I love. And there's always that, flip the switch and really think about, why is this happening? What is the root? What is that belief? What are you worried about? What are you so in fear of? And it really starts with one, acknowledging it. Acknowledging, hey, I'm raising my hands right now. I'm raising my hands. All right, I've got this fear. Number two is understanding. Understanding that, yeah, there have been failures and I've been through failures and heck, I've had my fair share, but there's also that knowing that you can be successful as well, that not everything that you do ends in a failure, right? And pulling those out and writing those down. So first and foremost, acknowledge it, put it down, write it down, just say what, is on your mind. What are you in fear of? Then next, understand that it's okay and that is something that comes up. And then three is knowing that you have had the opposite, right? Everything has a polar opposite, everything. And leaning into that. And I love how I once learned long time ago that it's like, falling down and breaking a bone, breaking your arm. And if you've broken your arm, you know what that pain's like. You know that feeling. Well, if you haven't, for instance, I've never broken a bone. I've had a lot of other things. I mean, I've had melanoma. I've had a lot of really, but I've never had that. But yet I can understand it. I can understand it. And then I, can then go into, well, I can appreciate how you're, going through that. But it's like a broken heart, right? We've all had a broken heart at one point. And so we can all know what that's like. And so what I think is super important is as you really look at your coaches in order to grow to the next level, making sure that they've had that, the ability to acknowledge what you've been through. They understand it, and then they know how to take you to that next level, and that's where growth happens. So anyway, super, super cool. I'm so excited. I'm going to go and actually take myself through this process again. And I am fired up. I'm fired up on, in the future, bringing you something that I think can really change how you see, how you run, and how you grow your business. So that's it. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.